Hello students and welcome back to another video tutorial, the lecture number 2nd from the chapter Life Processes of class 10th, and today we are going to talk about the first MCQ set of questions which are provided in your NCERT. So मैं सभी का स्वागत करता हूँ अपनी क्लास में जो कि क्लास 2nd क्लास है हमारी क्लास 10th की टॉपिक का नाम है लाइफ प्रोसेसेस और अब हम सॉल्व करने वाले हैं वो सारे क्वेश्चंस जो कि एनसीईआरटी में दे रखे हैं. So there are basically 4 questions which have been asked in the first set of questions given in the theory NCERT. The first is what is the why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirement of multicellular organism? डिफ्यूजन क्यों सफिशिएंट नहीं है किसी भी मल्टीसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म की ऑक्सीजन रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा करने के लिए. सो डिफ्यूजन से हम मल्टीसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म की ऑक्सीजन रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा क्यों नहीं कर सकते? Why diffusion is not effective in satisfying the oxygen requirement? First, the diffusion can only take place through the exposed body surfaces, and the body surfaces that are being exposed in the case of any animal is only the skin of that particular animal. So the skin has a very less surface area as compared to the surface area of the lungs. So the amount of oxygen captured by diffusion will be much more smaller as compared to the lungs. The second thing is that the diffusion is a slow process. The oxygen that will be even absorbed will not be transferred to the tissue, to the underlying tissues of an organism. ऑक्सीजन अगर एब्जॉर्ब हो भी जाएगी तभी अंडरलाइंग टिश्यू जैसे आपका हार्ट हुआ, आपकी इंटेस्टाइन्स हुई, अंदर वाले टिश्यूज तक पहुंचेगी नहीं, जिसकी वजह से अंदर वाले टिश्यूज की डेथ हो जाएगी एनॉक्सिया कंडीशन की वजह से. इसलिए डिफ्यूजन इफेक्टिव नहीं है. सो लेट मी जस्ट राइट डाउन द आंसर सो दैट यू कैन नोट इट डाउन. फर्स्ट, diffusion is a slow process. I am writing it with another color to differentiate the question from the answer. Diffusion occurs only through the exposed surface of the body, through the exposed, just zoom in to the board. Okay, now it would be better for you. Diffusion occurs only through the exposed surface of the body, that is skin, which has lower surface area as compared to lungs. Secondly, diffusion is a very slow process and will not be able to transfer the oxygen molecule to the internal organs or the internal cells. Secondly, diffusion is relatively slow, will not be able to transfer. I'm drawing the second question so that I can calculate the answer. Will not be able to transfer oxygen molecules to the underlying tissues of our body. This is the main reason. Why? There are two reasons. First, diffusion can only take place to the exposed surface, and the surface area of the body is very less as compared to the surface area of the lungs. Secondly, diffusion is a very slow process, will not be able to transfer the oxygen molecules to the internal cells of the body. There is another question. I will come to the question number 2nd at the end. What are the outside raw materials used by an organism? Which are the different type of raw materials that are being used by an organism? So there are several different types of raw materials which are being essentially required by our body in order to support the different life processes. Those essentially required outside raw material include oxygen, oxygen or air is being required to oxidize the food materials in order to generate energy. Okay, what else is required? Water is being required. Water, you know that 70 to 80% of our body is just made up of water. Water is essentially being required in order to maintain the osmotic concentration of the cells as well as to aid in the digestion process. Water is required. Water, I'm just writing H2O, is required to aid in osmotic concentration of the cell, to maintain the osmotic concentration of the cell, as well as to maintain to activate the digestive process, as well as to enhance the rate of food digestion. The rate of food digestion. Okay. The third most important thing that is being required is itself the food. Just rubbing the first answer so that I can accommodate another question there. Just writing this question. Fourth question is there. What processes, I'm just writing the question before rubbing it up. What processes would you consider essential for maintaining life? Okay, we'll be answering this particular question. First rub this so that I can complete the answer. So the next most important thing, I am at this particular question, what are the outside raw materials that are being required by an organism? First is air. The oxygen is being essentially required as a raw material for our body to oxidize the food material that we eat. The second is water. Water is maintaining the osmotic concentration of your cell. Water is aiding the process of digestion. The third most important thing is the food by itself. The third and the far most important of all these is the food. Okay, food materials provides us the energy upon oxidation, producing ATP. So these are the three essential criteria which are the different types of materials which are being required from outside. The first one being oxygen, the second one being water, the third one being the food, which will provide us the energy. Okay, the next question is that what processes would you consider essential for maintaining life? See, all the different life processes are the ones that are essentially for maintaining life. These include nutrition, respiration, translocation, excretion, as well as one of the most important life processes could be the control and coordination. So all different life processes, including nutrition, respiration, translocation, location, excretion, and another very important process, that is control and coordination. Coordination are the essential are essentially for maintaining the life of an organism, are essentially required for maintaining the life, for maintaining the life of an organism. Okay. There is another question that is being given. I have just rubbed that out. I'm just going to write another question and finish it off. That question was the second question. The question was, what criteria do you use? What criteria do you use to predict if an organism is living or not? Okay, so which are the criteria that we use for deciding whether the organism is living or not? The criteria that we are going to use for whether the organism is living or not is that all the different essential life processes must be present in that organism. If all the different essential life processes are present, then the organism is said to be living, else not. All essential life processes must be present within an organism, such as nutrition, respiration, translocation, excretion, to determine that the organism is living, else the organism is non-living. The primary characteristic features for determining that the organism is living could be its growth, the movement, and whether the organism is able to reproduce under normal environmental condition or not. Primary characteristics for a living organism could be the following three different types. First, the movement, growth, and the ability for sexual reproduction. Under ideal environmental condition. Under ideal environmental conditions. So these are some of the characteristic features that should be present in an organism to decide that this organism is living or not. So we have finished the first exercise. Now we will be continuing our lecture so that we can start with the first key essential life process, that is referred to as nutrition. So we will be starting with our first key essential life processes, that is referred to as nutrition. हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम बैक। 2 मिनट का ब्रेक लिया था कुछ डायग्राम्स को ड्रॉ करने के लिए ताकि मैं आपको और अच्छे तरीके से समझा सकूं। सो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू इनिशिएट अवर टॉपिक. हम अपने टॉपिक को स्टार्ट करते हैं. द फर्स्ट की एसेंशियल लाइफ प्रोसेस इज रेफर्ड टू एज न्यूट्रिशन. सबसे पहले और सबसे मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट जो लाइफ प्रोसेस है उसे हम क्या बोलते हैं? दैट इज रेफर्ड टू एज न्यूट्रिशन. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस न्यूट्रिशन? हाउ डज न्यूट्रिशन इन्फ्लुएंस द लाइफ ऑफ ऑल द डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनिज? न्यूट्रिशन किस तरीके से इन्फ्लुएंस करता है अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिज की लाइफ को? न्यूट्रिशन होता क्या है? न्यूट्रिशन प्रोवाइड्स अस इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द एनर्जी कंटेंट as well as the nutrients which are present within the food that we eat. न्यूट्रिशन हमें बताता है कि क्या एनर्जी कंटेंट है हमारे फूड का, क्या फूड के कंपोनेंट्स हैं, क्या उसके अंदर न्यूट्रिएंट्स प्रेजेंट हैं. सो इट प्रोवाइड्स इंफॉर्मेशन, इट provides the information about the energy content or nutrients in our food. So all this information is being provided about the energy content of the food as well as the nutrients which are present in the food in the under nutrition. So nutrition will make us able to absorb the energy as well as the nutrients from the food material. Now there is two different types of living organisms. One which are able to synthesize their own food by themselves. Such type of living organisms are referred to as autotrophs, such as the plant species. These plant species have the ability to biosynthesize their own food in the presence of the sunlight, because the light falling over their leaves will cause the photosynthesis to take place. This is a plant leaf that I am talking about. Now this leaf will have the ability to convert the light energy falling upon it into chemical energy and into food material. Now there are other type of organisms which are referred to as heterotrophs. Now heterotrophs have the ability to feed upon the autotrophic organisms. They feed upon the autotrophic organisms, and these never synthesizes their own food but depends upon the autotrophs for the biosynthesis of their food materials. So basically we are going to categorize the nutrition into two different types: the autotrophic nutrition and the heterotrophic nutrition. Now energy content. Why is energy utilized in our body? Where is energy used in our body? Why we need food? We need food for energy as well as nutrients. Energy catalyzes all the different biochemical reactions in our body. It is this energy which catalyzes all the different biochemical reactions in our body. All the different biochemical reactions in our body. All the different biochemical reactions in our body. As well as not only it catalyzes all the different types of biochemical reactions in our body, as well as this energy is the one that is required to maintain the state of order in our body. It is required to maintain the state of it. Energy maintains the state of order. Maintains the state of order. Order in our body. Okay, so this is the function of energy. Energy is required to maintain the state of order of our body. Okay, so now when we are going to categorize the nutrition, we are going to categorize the nutrition into two different types. Which are the two different types of nutrition? One is referred to as autotrophic nutrition. ऐसे ऑर्गेनिज्म जो अपने आप फूड मटेरियल बना सकते हैं उन्हें हम किस में कैटेगराइज करते हैं? ऑटोट्रॉफ्स में. जो अपने आप नहीं बना सकते उन्हें हम किस में कैटेगराइज करते हैं? हेटेरोट्रॉफ्स में. तो सबसे पहले हम देखते हैं आपके ही चैप्टर का 6.2.1 द ऑटोट्रॉफिक न्यूट्रिशन. व्हाट इज दिस ऑटोट्रॉफिक न्यूट्रिशन? हाउ डज ऑटोट्रॉफिक न्यूट्रिशन टेक्स प्लेस? I'm just rubbing this out. So I'm categorizing the nutrition into two different types, the autotrophic and the heterotrophic one, and then I am writing about autotrophic nutrition. So there is nutrition categorized into two different types, the autotrophic nutrition and the heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. Now what do you mean by autotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition है क्या और किस में मिलता है? So let us write the heading autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition refers to the nutrition in which the different plant species can biosynthesize complex organic compounds from the simple inorganic compounds. Autotrophs means the one which are able to biosynthesize their own food material by themselves. Autotrophic nutrition, it occurs in autotrophs. What are these autotrophs? They have the ability to biosynthesize their own food material by themselves. These organisms have the ability to biosynthesize their food materials by themselves. How they are going to biosynthesize? Through the chemical energy of the sun. They have the ability to convert the light energy into chemical energy. These can convert the light energy into chemical energy. So they are the one that would be converting the light energy into chemical energy. Okay, now how does this process takes place? Which is the process? Where does the process takes place? So as I have told you, which are the autotrophs? Autotrophs refer to the different plant species, and these plant species have the ability to convert the inorganic material into organic compounds. इन प्लांट स्पीशीज के पास में एबिलिटी है, ये किसी भी इनऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल को ऑर्गेनिक में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. ऐसा केवल ऑटोट्रॉफिक न्यूट्रिशन के अंदर, प्लांट्स के अंदर ये देखा गया है कि वो लाइट एनर्जी को केमिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं और उस केमिकल एनर्जी को हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फूड. All the living organisms on the planet Earth directly or indirectly depends upon autotrophs for their food energy. सारे के सारे फूड के लिए सारे के सारे लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, चाहे वो हेटरोट्रॉफ्स हों, चाहे वो एनिमल्स हों, चाहे कोई और स्पीशीज हो, वो सबके किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करती है? वो सब का सब ऑटोट्रॉफ्स के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हैं अपने फूड एनर्जी के लिए. नेक्स्ट इज वी हैव टू सी वेयर इन दीज ऑटोट्रॉफ्स द इंटरकन्वर्जन ऑफ एनर्जी इज टेकिंग प्लेस, where the light energy is getting converted into chemical energy. It actually occurs in the form of leaves. It occurs in leaves. Within the leaves, the autotrophs have specialized cells which contains chlorophyll pigment within chloroplast. These cells containing chlorophyll have the ability to perform photosynthesis. ये फोटोसिंथेसिस करते हैं. ऐसे सेल्स होते हैं जिनके पास में क्लोरोफिल है और वो सेल्स फोटोसिंथेसिस को परफॉर्म करते हैं. और फोटोसिंथेसिस यानी कि प्रकाश संश्लेषण की क्रिया से फोटोसिंथेसिस रिएक्शन इज द वन दैट हैज द एबिलिटी टू कन्वर्ट द लाइट एनर्जी इनटू केमिकल एनर्जी. सो लेट मी स्टार्ट विद फोटोसिंथेसिस in the case of autotrophic nutrition. Now what is photosynthesis? Where does it take place? How does it takes place? Which are the chemical reactions which are involved? Let us focus here. क्या होता है, कैसे होता है photosynthesis, कौन कौन सी chemical reactions है वो हमें यहाँ पर देखनी होंगी. तो आप थोड़ा सा इधर की तरफ zoom करेंगे तो आप reactions को देख सकते हैं. Just focusing you to the different chemical reactions that we have to study. Okay, just zoom out a bit so that you can look at the entire diagrams that I have drawn for you all. सारे डायग्राम्स आपके लिए बनाए गए हैं ताकि टाइम आपका वेस्ट ना हो और हम कुछ यूजफुल स्टडी कर सकें विदाउट वेस्टिंग आवर टाइम ऑन डायग्राम्स. नाउ Please look here. This is the part of the plant that I was talking to you. This is the part of the plant that I was talking to you. This is referred to as the leaf. ये वही लीफ है जिसके बारे में बात कर रहा था. अगर इस लीफ को आप ढंग से देख पा रहे हैं, शायद आप देख पा रहे होंगे डायग्राम में. थोड़ा सा और जूम आउट करता हूं ताकि आप पूरा देख पाए. Okay, now it's fine. So you can look at the leaf. Now this leaf contains several different parts. इस लीफ के, इस पत्ती के काफी सारे पार्ट्स हैं. वो कौन कौन से पार्ट्स हैं उन्हें हमें देखना है. So one is referred to as the midrib. यहां पर मैं कुछ रब कर रहा हूं. Now which are the different components of this leaf is that there is a part that is referred to as the midrib. This is the middle part. Then there are xylem vesicles. Then there are phloem vesicles which are present. Xylem will transport the water molecule. Phloem will transport the food molecules. In fact, this is an artificial leaf, but still you can see that there would be the vesicles that would be passing through the entire leaf. Those vesicles are referred to as the xylem and phloem vesicles and constitute the midrib. Now, if you take a cross section of the leaf, अगर आप लीफ का एक पार्ट कट करते हैं और उसे माइक्रोस्कोप के अंदर विजुलाइज करते हैं and you are visualizing it under the microscope, then what you are going to find is that there is a waxy cuticle which is present over the structure of the leaf. लीफ के सरफेस पे एक क्यूटिकल होती है. लीफ के सरफेस पे एक कवरिंग होती है, उसे हम क्या बोलते हैं? वैक्सी क्यूटिकल. आप लीफ की सरफेस पे वाटर की एक ड्रॉपलेट डालिएगा, वो एब्जॉर्ब नहीं होगी, फिसल जाएगी. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके ऊपर है वैक्सी क्यूटिकल अटैच्ड. The next thing is that the upper surface of the leaf is referred to as the epidermis. लीफ की ऊपर वाली सरफेस को हम क्या बोलते हैं? एपिडर्मिस. Then there are cells. These are referred to as palisade cells. इनका नाम क्या होता है? Palisade cells. Palisade. P-A-L-I-S-A-D-E. Palisade cells. These cells have chloroplast. This chloroplast contain chlorophyll. Chloroplast is an organelle present in the case of plant cells that contains chlorophyll, and it is within these chloroplast that the first reaction of photosynthesis takes place. इसी chloroplast के अंदर reaction होती है photosynthesis की. कैसे होती है वो reaction? ये हमें देखने की कोशिश करनी है. How does the reaction takes place in the chloroplast? Within the chloroplast, what happens is that within the chloroplast, in autotrophic nutrition, the photosynthesis occurs. In photosynthesis, 6CO2 plus 12H2O will give C6H12O6 plus 6H2O. अगर हम in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, just balancing this equation, we can as well as produce 6 molecules of oxygen. We can just cancel the 6H2O from 12H2O. We will get something like this. 6H2O cancels the 12H2O, so here remains 6H2O. इधर 6H2O बच गए और इधर बच गए केवल 6 ऑक्सीजन. So see this reaction. This is the reaction of photosynthesis in which the light energy is getting converted into chemical energy in the form of glucose molecule. और इसी ग्लूकोज को यूटिलाइज करेंगे हमारे डिफरेंट प्लांट और एनिमल एज अ न्यूट्रिएंट. Okay, this glucose molecule will be utilized by different plant and animal as a nutrient. Now, to further understand the process how this photosynthesis takes place, we must perform certain activities. कुछ एक्टिविटीज करेंगे, कुछ केमिकल रिएक्शंस करा के देखेंगे किस तरीके से फोटोसिंथेसिस होता है. तो पहली एक्टिविटी में हमने क्या किया है? In the first activity, what is being designed, what is being done in your NCERT is that this is an activity to depict that starch biosynthesis or glucose biosynthesis takes place in the leaves. Those areas which are green in nature. So we are going to take a variegated leaf. First, a variegated leaf is being taken. What is a variegated leaf? वेरीगेटेड लीफ का हिंदी में मतलब है चिकत्तेदार वाली लीफ. मतलब ऐसी लीफ जिसके अंदर ब्राउन भी एरिया हो, ब्राउन एरिया भी हो और बाकी ग्रीनिश एरिया भी हो. ब्राउनिश एरिया में लीफ के सेल्स की डेथ हो चुकी होती है, वहां पर क्लोरोफिल नहीं होता, वहां पर फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं होता और केवल ग्रीनिश पार्ट पे ही फोटोसिंथेसिस होता है. सो व्हाट डज एनसीईआरटी सेज? एनसीईआरटी सेज दैट वी आर गोइंग टू टेक अ लीफ. Okay, we have taken a leaf which is variegated. So this is a variegated leaf. Okay, now just trace this leaf by keeping it over a paper. We have to trace it out. हमने इसे trace कर दिया. We have traced it over by keeping it over a paper. So I am keeping it over a paper. This is a sheet that is there, and I am keeping this leaf over this particular sheet, and then I am tracing this leaf. Okay, supposingly I am able to trace this leaf in a particular area. Okay, supposingly I am able to trace this leaf in a particular area and I have to mark the green areas. मुझे वो area mark करने हैं जो green है. उसके बाद में इस leaf को, इस पूरे प्लांट को हमें कहाँ पर रख देना है? एक ऐसी जगह पे रख देना है जहां पर 3 दिन तक कोई लाइट नहीं होगी. We have to take the leaf. शुरुआत करते हैं. We have to शुरुआत में ही हमें इस प्लांट को एक डार्क एरिया में रख देना है. We have to take the leaf, trace out the green areas. Now expose the leaf to light for 5 to 6 hours. After exposure it to the sunlight, we have to take the leaf and keep the leaf in a boiling water. When we are going to keep the leaf in the boiling water, then all the cells are going to die off. सारे cells की क्या हो जाएगी? मौत हो जाएगी. All the cells are going to die off. When all the cells are going to die off, then what is going to happen? Only those cells which have chloroplast, which have starch will be able to accumulated. Those who would have performed photosynthesis, उन cells ने जिन्होंने photosynthesis किया होगा उनके अंदर starch बन गया होगा और वो starch accumulate हो गया होगा. तो अगर आप देखें तो उन cells के अंदर यहाँ पर starch accumulated हो चुका है. अब इसी leaf को हमें दोबारा से immerse करना है एक alcoholic solution के अंदर, alcohol के solution के अंदर within a beaker, and will have to boil it so that all the chloroplast get dissolved in alcohol. The leaf will become completely transparent, but only those areas it will be darkened where the starch is present. Now at the last instance of time you have to expose the leaf to the Gram's iodine solution. Gram's iodine solution has a characteristic feature to form bluish blackish or brownish color in the presence of starch. ये एक brown या black color का solution बन जाता है, color आ जाएगा जहां पर starch present होगा और ये indicate करता है कि यहाँ पर photosynthesis हुआ है. So in the case of activity 1, first place the plant in dark for 3 days. For 3 days. Second, expose plant to sunlight for 6 hours. Third, boil plant leaf in water. Trace the green part of the plant leaf. Third is tracing the green part of the plant leaf. Fourth, boiling leaf in water, placing leaf in alcohol to remove chloroplast, and at last performs Gram's iodine reaction or iodine test. Just an iodine test. The presence of blue-black color indicate that yes, starch is present. Presence of blue-black color. Presence of blue-black color indicates that yes, starch is present. Starch present. Okay. This is the first activity that has been described in your NCERT. तो आप देखते हैं कि स्टार्च जहाँ एरिया में पाया जाता है that completely coincides with the area which was being marked as green. so only the green part of the leaf has the ability to perform photosynthesis. आप देखते हैं कि जो एरिया ब्लू ब्लैक कलर का आया है वो वही एरिया है जो आपने मार्क किया था अपनी लीफ के ऊपर, तो ये क्लियरली इंडिकेट करता है कि केवल वही प्लांट का फोटोसिंथेसिस कर सकता है जिसके पास में फोटोसिंथेसिस के लिए क्लोरोप्लास्ट होते हैं जो ग्रीन कलर का दिखता है. So this is how the plants perform photosynthesis. The first activity indicates that the green part of the plant performs photosynthesis. Now, the next thing that is being given, that is being provided in your NCERT is that during photosynthesis, what happens is that another critical important feature of photosynthesis during photosynthesis is that just rubbing the first activity because it's over. Then there is activity number 2 that we have to understand later. During the process of photosynthesis, gaseous exchange takes place. This is A and B. During photosynthesis, gaseous exchange occurs. Gaseous exchange occurs. Now, where does gaseous exchange occurs? Gaseous exchange occurs through specialized opening called as stomata, which are being guarded by guard cells. These are the two different guard cells, first and second, and this is chlorophyll. Okay, during photosynthesis, gaseous exchange occurs via openings present over the leaf, called as stomata. These stomata are being guarded with two bean-shaped cells called as guard cells. These are being guarded by bean-shaped cells. These are being guarded by bean-shaped guard cells. You can find these guard cells. It is through these stomata that gaseous exchange is taking place. So carbon dioxide is going to move into the plant cell and oxygen is going to move outside. So what is going to happen? CO2 is going to move into okay, this is a closed stomata, this is open. So इससे नहीं जाएगी, केवल इसी से जाएगी, sorry. CO2 is going to move into and oxygen is going to move outside. This is closed. This is open. This is open. Okay, so this part is a bit closed. This is a closed stomata. This is an open stomata. So opening of stomata catalyzes gaseous exchange so that the carbon dioxide can move into the plant cells through this stomata and oxygen can move outside the plants through stomata. So it is this stomata that act as the places over the leaves of the plant where from the gaseous exchange can take place within the plant cells, okay, within the plant leaves, and thus plants can uptake that carbon dioxide which is essentially being required for the process of photosynthesis to take place, as well as can release the oxygen which is the byproduct of photosynthesis, and it is this oxygen that we utilize. तो स्टोमेटा क्या करते हैं? स्टोमेटा एक बीन शेप्ड स्ट्रक्चर है जिसके थ्रू गैसेस का एक्सचेंज हो सकता है, और इन स्ट्रक्चर्स के थ्रू क्या होता है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाहर से प्लांट सेल के अंदर आती है और ऑक्सीजन अंदर से बाहर की तरफ जाती है, जिससे क्या हो पाता है, एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस हो पाता है, और इस एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस की वजह से ही प्लांट्स फोटोसिंथेसिस की एबिलिटी को परफॉर्म कर पाता है. Okay, so the second activity is based upon this particular principle to determine if the carbon dioxide is essentially required by the plant cells or not. आप दूसरी एक्टिविटी को देखेंगे तो दूसरी एक्टिविटी जो एनसीईआरटी में दे रखी है वो इसी बात को डिटरमाइन करने के लिए दे रखी है कि प्लांट सेल्स को फोटोसिंथेसिस करने के लिए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड चाहिए या कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नहीं चाहिए. सो व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड बाय द प्लांट सेल, दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. We have to understand that how does plant cells perform photosynthesis with the use of carbon dioxide. So let us move to the second activity. Okay, last one point was remaining. The stomata opens during the daytime and closes during the night. Usually stomata opens during the daytime to facilitate gaseous exchanges while closes at night. Okay, so usually the stomata is open during the days, but opposite happens in case of succulents, in case of xerophytes. What are xerophytes? Xerophytes वो प्लांट स्पीशीज होती हैं जो मरुस्थल में पाई जाती हैं, जो रेगिस्तान में पाई जाती हैं. Those which are present in desert is referred to as xerophytes. Such type of plant species will not be able to accommodate the stomatal opening during daytime so as to conserve the large amount of water. They have to conserve water, so they opens during night. जीरोफाइट्स के अंदर स्टोमेटा दिन में नहीं खुल सकती क्योंकि उन्हें वाटर को प्रोटेक्ट करना होता है. उनके अंदर अगर दिन में वो खुल जाएंगी, वो डेजर्ट में है तो सारा वाटर लॉस हो जाएगा, इसलिए उनकी स्टोमेटा रात में ही ओपन होती हैं. तो वो एक अलग मैकेनिज्म है. यूजुअली प्लांट्स के अंदर दिन में ही स्टोमेटा ओपन होती है. ओके, नाउ the activity number second that is being shown here to you, activity second, indicate if CO2 is essentially required for photosynthesis. देखिए एक्टिविटी नंबर 2 आपसे ये पूछती है क्या CO2 एसेंशियली, क्या CO2 चाहिए भी फोटोसिंथेसिस के लिए कि नहीं चाहिए? क्या बिना CO2 के फोटोसिंथेसिस हो सकता है, या CO2 एसेंशियली चाहिए ही चाहिए तभी फोटोसिंथेसिस हो सकता है? Essentially required for photosynthesis. So in this experiment what is being done, let us just visualize this experiment. There are two plant species kept in a bell jar. So this is a bell jar. Okay, in the first case, A case, a beaker is being placed along with KOH solution. This KOH, potassium hydroxide solution, is being placed along with the plant species, and the ends are being sealed. Ends are sealed. Okay. The KOH has the ability to react with carbon dioxide, and it will form different carbonates along with the potassium carbonate will be produced. Now, so it has the ability to minimize the carbon dioxide present within the bell jar, so that there is no carbon dioxide. Whereas in the B example, there is no KOH, so carbon dioxide is present here. So what is going to happen in the A experiment? Experimental setup, KOH will absorb all CO2 from the bell jar in the bell jar and form potassium carbonates. Okay, hence no CO2 is available. In jar B, no KOH, so CO2 is available. or it is present. So CO2 adequate amount of carbon dioxide is present. So now what is going to happen? The photosynthesis is going to take place. As the photosynthesis is going to take place, यहाँ पर photosynthesis नहीं हो पाएगी क्योंकि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है ही नहीं. हमें तो रिएक्शन पता है ना, हमें तो पता है कि रिएक्शन क्या होती है फोटोसिंथेसिस की. ये रही रिएक्शन बाई फोटोसिंथेसिस की. तो अगर आप देखते हैं कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है ही नहीं तो होगा क्या बताइए. अगर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है ही नहीं तो फोटोसिंथेसिस की ये रिएक्शन नहीं होने वाली. देयर वुड बी नो रिएक्शन दैट इज गोइंग टू टेक प्लेस एंड हेंस because there is no carbon dioxide, so there would be no photosynthesis. How we can determine that there is no photosynthesis? There would be no starch formation. Again we will repeat the activity number 1 and we would be able to understand that in this plant species there is no carbon dioxide, hence no photosynthesis. Photosynthesis in this. Yes, photosynthesis is going to take place. Okay, so you can focus here. Okay, yes, photosynthesis is going to take place. So what is going to happen? The iodine test will give blue black color in this experiment. Iodine test positive, and here the iodine test is negative. As shown in the activity 1, this clearly illustrates that how plants have the ability to perform photosynthesis. ये एक्टिविटीज हमें बताती हैं किस प्रकार से प्लांट्स फोटोसिंथेसिस या प्रकाश संश्लेषण की क्रिया कर सकते हैं. Now the next thing that we have to talk in about nutrition are the heterotrophic type of nutrition which takes place in the case of animals. In the case of animal species including human beings, we are not autotrophs. We cannot synthesize our own food by ourselves. We are heterotrophs. Now how does we uptake nutrients from the food material? Through our digestion. We eat up the plant species and then we are going to utilize the food energy captured within these plant species into our daily metabolic activities. Okay, so that we are going to look in another video tutorial. The next video tutorial that we will be following, we will be talking about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. What is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition? How does heterotrophic mode of nutrition takes place? Until then, goodbye. Keep asking queries. You can always WhatsApp to me, always send your queries, always comments upon the videos, and your queries will be definitely answered. Okay students, thank you, thanks a lot, best of luck. We will meet soon in our upcoming lecture. Thank you.